Summer of 2025 is a great time to pick up a bunch of cards that you may want to get in your Seal collection. You may want to grade, to get that PSA 10, or you might want to look at cards that maybe go up in value over time. Well, today we're going through a bunch of cards, which are great pickups right now. A lot of them have been dropping, and you can get a good return on them potentially in the future as well, especially if you grade them well. And it's very exciting, right? Because it's getting a bit easier when it comes to, especially cards, right? Graded cards, single cards, stuff like that. It is getting a little bit cheaper. Prices are dropping, which to me, prime time, right? This year, I've focused so much on graded cards. I've graded like 250 cards already, and I'm going to be grading even more. And I'm just going to be going crazy, right? I'm just grading so much stuff, and we're just going to see how things go and stuff like that. So now's a great time, right? And it's not even just grading, but picking up single cards. I've been buying a lot of collections, actually, which I'll be showing off one of them real soon. Some people are kind of cashing in, or cashing out, as it were, on the hobby, and they're getting rid of a lot of cards, a lot of collections, and now's a good time. A lot of stuff is dropping in price. I've been able to pick up stuff for a good price, and a lot cheaper than they were 2, 3, even 4 months ago. So we're going through a few cards today of cards which also I'm looking to pick up as well. So these are cards which I'm like, you know what, I don't have them. I do want to try and get hold of them. Maybe they're getting a little bit cheaper, so on and so forth. So let's jump in. So the first card we are looking at today is the Charmander Pokemon Center promo from Obsidian Flames. Now, I've never picked up any of the Obsidian Flames ETBs, Pokemon Center, all normal ones. Even though the normal ones were like ridiculously cheap at one point, like nobody wanted them. They were like 25 each. I should have picked them up, right? I really should have. But right now, we're looking at the Pokemon Center promo, and as we know, it's very, very expensive in a PSA 10. Look at that, nearly 1.5k. But what about the raw price? Okay, that's what I want to talk about as well. But yes, if you do get a 10, there's not that many, and it is difficult to get a 10. But if you do get a 10, you're laughing. You are laughing. I mean, even a 9, right? Even a 9, you're making like 50% in value, which is very, very good. But yeah, even the PSA price has come down slightly, but still up on the past 6 months, which is very, very impressive. If we look at the raw price, this is what we'll look at. The raw price has been slipping, guys. So it's actually the lowest it's been over the past 6 months. At one point, TCG Player was $173, whereas the market price was just under 100. You're looking like at 70%, difference, right? This was back in April. Now they're pretty much neck and neck, which is fine, but they've dropped massively. I mean, look, TCG Player $95 compared to over 170. So now's a good time potentially to look at picking up some Charmander Pokemon Center promos. It's like the Pokemon Center promo and the regular promo, I wouldn't mind getting. I love the Bulbasaur and I love the Squirrel from Stellar Crown, and it's just like nice to have this one as well to kind of finish off the collection, which I think would be pretty awesome. So next up we got the Greninja. So believe it or not, I did have this. I did grade it and it got a PSA 9. Bit of a bummer, of course, but in a 10 it goes for $183, and it is up, of course, over the past 6 months. But from its all-time high at $240, this card has dropped a fair amount, but it's still doing a lot better, of course. Now, Shroud of Fable, not the best set, but a good little collection box that you can get this from. It's always tricky to get these type of cards in the 10 because they can get damaged in the packaging as well. So, but this is an amazing-looking Greninja. And if we look at the raw price of this bad boy, it has also been slipping a little bit. It's still up on the past 6 months, but it has slipped from its all-time high. Although TCG Player and the market have been, neck and neck, which is quite interesting, except back in February or the end of January when it was nearly $50 raw and $30 on the market. Big difference between TCG Player there, but pretty consistent, which is actually pretty good. But if you look over the past 6 months, it's pretty much dropped like between $5 to $10, but is that graded price as well. That's holding relatively well. I mean, obviously it has gone down, but still being $180 compared to what, $100? That's pretty good, right? So yeah, I do think this is a good one to look at picking up. Plus, it's an awesome artwork. But of course, to go alongside it, we have the Kingdra. Now, I did grade this one, and it did get a PSA 10, and I did cash out on it. I did sell it. So the Kingdra, and I'm looking at picking up some more. So the Kingdra I did get, and I did sell. I think I sold it for £125. So in dollars, what's that, like 140-ish? And that was probably maybe month ago, maybe a bit more than that, maybe a month and a half ago. So you're probably looking around about May-ish time. You're looking around about there. So pretty good for me to sell it for that price. But cards here tend to go for a little bit higher, like graded cards tend to go for a little bit higher value over here in the UK normally. I don't know why. Maybe because it's a little bit more tricky for us to get stuff graded over in the US. That might be it. Who knows? But yeah, so we're looking for like $20, $25 for this one raw. And we look at the raw price over the past 6 months. Of course, it's done very, very well. But it's been somewhat consistent. It has come down from its all-time high, which is roughly around $30. So I think this is a good one. This is a slightly cheaper alternative than the Greninja, but still an amazing promo. But yeah, I am looking at picking up potentially more to get some more graded, because that'd be cool. But yeah, I would like to have like one of each still in my collection, I think, in the future. I just think the artwork's sick. Okay, then we got the Pikachu from Crown Zenith. This is an interesting one because I've never actually owned this card. It's kind of weird. I collected a lot of Crown Zenith. I opened up a hell of a lot of Crown Zenith. I never pulled this card. Like, it was really weird. So this one I never had, right? And I'm in an iron picking up ages ago because it was like super cheap. And then it shot up and it just went absolutely crazy prices. And I was like, wow, it's absolutely exploding. But then looking at the raw price, I mean, it is between $15 and $20. We're looking at PSA 10 at $82. Now that has dropped slightly from its all-time high. It's actually the lowest been in the past 6 months. Its high was 110, but there's 20,000. I mean, it's not a super expensive card anyway, but it going for $82 still pretty impressive. But it's the raw price that I want to talk about. This raw price is still being relatively consistent. I mean, it's dipped a little bit. I mean, it really is a little bit over the past 6 months, but it has jumped up massively. Huge fan favorite card. Yes, it is relatively easy to get, but because Crown Zenith is getting older and getting more expensive, I would expect this card to do very well in the future. And it's like huge fan favorite. You know, I think the artwork's incredible. It's from an amazing set, so keep that one in mind. It's not massively expensive either, even though it's like doubled in price. And over the past 12 months, it's still a really, really cool card. Then we got the big boy, Charizard VMAX. Now, we don't normally talk about Shining Fates really anymore. It's been such a long time talking about Shining Fates. But I wanted to talk about the Charizard because it has been a while. And I love this card. I do have this in a PSA 10. And this is a beauty. It is. Shining Fates is getting more expensive now. We're looking at close to $100 in ETB. Taking a while, but it has gotten there. We're looking at $100 on eBay, you know, 160 odd on the car market, but PSA 10, $220. This has actually jumped up a fair amount, but 28 of them are in a 10, which is mad, right? So we can see in the PSA price over the past 6 months, it's actually gone up slightly from $180 to $220. I remember back in the day, this was like 500 plus in the 10 when it came out. It was wild. But yeah, so this is still relatively good, and it's starting to creep back up. And again, we look at the raw price. I mean, on TCG Player, slightly higher than the average market price, but again, over the past 6 months, it's doing relatively well. I mean, even if you look at the market price at $99, it was like 85 at one point. Did dip as well, but still, like, it was highish there back in March. So this one's jumped up. I remember doing a video maybe, I don't know, this time last year. It was like $70, $80 raw, so it has been going up. So keep that one in mind. Shining Fates, beautiful artwork. I love this style of Charizard, by the way. It's one of my favorites. Okay, this one I wanted to talk about only because I've been grading a lot of these recently. Okay, and I didn't really notice what was going on with Hidden Fates, and I swear by Hidden Fates. You know, it's one of the best modern era sets for a long time, and I've been a champion of that for the channel for as long as this channel's been around. And I've opened up so much Hidden Fates, and I've graded so many of these promos. It's interesting, right? So, raw, we're now looking at $100. And as recording this video, I checked on eBay in the UK. Now, bear in mind, I've been actively spying and selling these. So, I've graded a few PSA, and I've been, you know, lucky enough that a good chunk of them did come back in 10s. Some 9s, but no 8s, but just 9s and 10s. And I sold one maybe 2 weeks ago in a PSA 10 for £130. No, yeah, about £130. It was probably about maybe a month ago now. So a month ago I sold one for 130. Then I sold one 2 weeks ago for 200. So it went up from 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago it was 130. Then it went up to 200, literally like 2-3 weeks later. And as I recorded this on eBay, the only one that's available is £350. £350 is the only one that's available, right? That includes the buyer's fee, so maybe a little bit less. But about £350. And I was sat there going, what has happened? I literally, what has happened? The raw price is like £100 now on eBay. And I'm sat there going, I've just like been selling PSA 9s for like 70, 75. And I remember in the past, maybe a year or so ago, I was selling PSA 10s for like 100. And look what's this, look at it, right? So we have here PSA 10, right? 23,500 of them, $350. Over the past 6 months, this card has gone from $100 or under $100 in a PSA 10 to $350. That's madness. I mean, I've been grading, like I said, I've been grading quite a few, and I think right now I have 4 or 5 in a 10, and 3 9s, I think, or 4 9s. So, I mean, I'm laughing, if I'm being honest. If I'm being perfectly honest, I'm laughing. I think this is going to go even more. I looked at the price of Hidden Fates ETBs, like here in the UK, and they're still about 220. They have been going up. So I'm like, hang on, if this is raw at 100, you're paying 120 for 10 packs of Hidden Fates. Hidden Fates packs are like 20, 25. Seems interesting, doesn't it? So we look at the raw price for this. Look at this. I don't know what's going on. I mean, look, over $100. At the beginning of the year, it was $30. Literally in the past month, this card's gone from 50 and doubled in value. How high would this card go? I'm holding fire. I'm keeping hold of all mine at the moment. I was looking at selling them. Now I'm like, nope, nope, the madness is going. I'm just holding. I'm going to wait and see. Let this hit the peak and then plateau. Because knowing my luck, I'll probably end up selling one and then it goes up to like $500 in a PSA 10 or something stupid. Absolute madness. I mean, incredible promo though. That's why I graded it so many times, because I just love it. And then finally today, we have the Reshiram and Charizard GX Tag Team promo. The other day we went through the Pikachu and Zekrom, but this one's one of the other ones. And this one, again, huge, huge card. $20 odd, not too bad, raw. Look at that in a PSA 10. $210. Look at this climb, again, big. $90, bang, over 200. Very, very impressive. And again, we look at the raw price, jumping up. I mean, TCG plays in a world of its own. I mean, it's literally like a crazy, like 50% more expensive. But yeah, I think overall this is a very cool promo. Anything tag team, we just throw the Hidden Fates promo. Going to the moon. Guys, don't sleep on these, right? Don't sleep on these. I think they're cool. I think it's awesome. I like Charizard. I like Reshiram. There you have it, guys. Those are some cards that you can look to pick up right now that have been, you know, a lot of them have been going down in price, but obviously there's some that did go up, like the Hidden Fates promo. But yeah, I think overall, you could be looking at some really good cards and really good pickups. Some are booming. Some of the older stuff is booming. Scarlet and Violet is dropping like crazy. We've seen huge price drops, and I've did a few videos on some recent cards. But when it goes to like Sword and Shield, and especially Sun and Moon, things are going the opposite direction. Things are going up and up and up. So if you're, you know, like me, and you want to go back and you want to pick up some of these cards, especially from the Sun and Moon era, be careful. They are getting a little bit pricey. I don't see a lot of them realistically dropping in price just because of how old some of them are. And obviously the products that they're in, very, very expensive. But yeah, very, very interesting. Like I say, you know, anything Scarlet and Violet right now is pretty good. That Charmander Pokemon Center promo dropped a lot. That could be a really good one to pick up as well. And of course, you know, the Shroud of Fable promos, they're very, very good. Like the you know, the Greninja, the Kingdra, even though Shroud of Fable wasn't the best set, those are some very, very nice promos that you can pick up as well, because they have dropped in price, which is, you know, pretty good. But guys, let me know down in the comments which one is your favorite card today. Are you surprised as I am about the Hidden Fate stuff? I am. I mean, that literally just like, what the hell's going on there, right? That really threw me off. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see how high that goes. And where's the ceiling? Like I said, I'm holding fire on what I've got, and I'm just going to wait it out, and we're just going to see how things go. But that's it from me, guys, in today's video. If you watch more Pokemon content, make sure to click the video on screen. And of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You guys are legends, and I'll see you in the next one.